Welcome back to the AD 1926 video series. This is part 50. Last time we left off in Adrian, Texas. Today we're going to continue just west of there in Gruhlkey, Texas. We are on the North I-40 service road. This is looking north up to Gruhlkey at the former railroad. We're going to continue down Original 66 here. And this whole area is essentially Gruhlkey, and I'll explain why in a minute. The Gruhlkey family name goes back pretty far in this area. Here's a mention of Bill Gruhlkey in relation to the railroad in a Tucumcari newspaper from 1927, originally in the Glenrio newspaper. Predating 66 by a couple years and therefore giving some inspiration for the AD 1926 movement is this home. This is the Gruhlkey home, and if we zoom in, you'll see the date of 1924. And then a couple doors down was the old gas station, built after 1926, but you'll see why in a second why I'm sharing this. And there's the Route 66 vehicle parked in front, pretending to get some gas. And this photo is William Gruhlkey, and he was a farmer around this time. At least that's what it says in the 1940 census. And this is his son, Percy. He was the one that operated the gas station. Found this photo on Facebook with a caption saying that he used to bring his fiddle and play at Tommy's Cafe, aka the Bent Door. So there's the musical connection I was looking for. The original 66 took the curve a little bit differently here and then ended up behind the fence here to the right. But if we look at the gate, we will see the Gruhlkey family name. And 66 would have been right behind that gate. It heads straight west, curves southwest around here. This is looking northeast. And there's really not much around here except for some culverts and perhaps a part of a bridge or a building. And of course, some cattle enjoying original 66. '66 continued southwest here. You can't even see where the road was, not drivable as far as I know. It heads to Boise, which was never really a town. Here are some modern structures there. It was more of a loading point, a railroad siding. Even on this highway proposal map, it's labeled Boise Siding. And west of there, but east of Glenrio, we take the I-40 service road that's on the south side of the interstate. This was Route 66 from 1926 into the 30s. We'll take this into Glenrio. Up ahead, you'll see the road curve off to the right a bit. That wasn't original 66. It originally went straight here, like where those trees are. So we'll edit ahead, and catch it back where it rejoins the newer 66. And now we're heading into Glenrio, Texas. We'll conveniently ignore the post-1926 stuff on the right here and take a look at something that would have been here in the 20s. Cows, horses, cowboys. I spoke with this guy here, and he was telling me that they are preparing for an upcoming rodeo. I know some people call Glenrio a ghost town, but I call it a near ghost town. I have a separate video about that, but this shows that there is activity in town. You know, 3 cowboys preparing for a rodeo. We'll continue down I-40 Business Loop, aka Route 66, and we see several other buildings from the 1950s and, things that are much later than AD 1926, but I assume that there were other buildings. Like on the left there was the railroad, there's probably buildings there, perhaps the Cooper Hotel. I'll tell you about that in a sec. Before we do that, we'll look back east down 66, and then we'll pan to the south and look down what may have been Route 66 from 1926 into the early 30s. Probably not, though. It was the Ozark Trails before then, though. More likely, it continued the way that we were headed. One reason is this 1925 gas station. It makes more sense that it would have been along 66, not off to the side like that. There's this old post office on the New Mexico side. It's next to a building from 1930. And back there, there's this old house from around 1910. It's called the Angel House. And in front of that is a gas station, but that's from 1946. In a video about Glenrio, the late Charlie Nixon is standing in front of that 1925 gas station, and he's pointing directly across the street, referencing the Cooper Hotel, or Hotel Cooper. So if it was along the highway, it would be directly across the street and right about here. The railroad was right here as well. I wonder, though, if it was along the Ozark Trail here. One person said it was on the opposite side of the road here on the Texas side, but this ad shows it as being New Mexico. I'm not really sure. Using this old plot map, perhaps it was New Mexico Ave, which became 66, and State Street. What I've done here is an aerial shot, and I've overlaid these plans for streets. Most of them probably were never even created. Well, that's it for part 50 of the AD 1926 video series. We head west out of Glenrio, New Mexico. Come back for more videos. Be sure to subscribe and become a supporter of the Route 66 Patreon at patreon.com/Route66Suite.